What a shit day. For multiple reasons in my case. But yeah, so the news broke today. Everton and Forest have broken the profit and sustainability rules for the
22-23.
Yeah, 22-23, which also includes accounts from 20 and 21 and all sorts of stuff that we've already been penalised for. I can't quite believe it. Like,
it's just another day in the life of being an Evertonian, isn't it? And listen, again, the fans have been hurt. I know we haven't been given another point deduction yet. There's certain people on Twitter who are adamant that we have not broke these profit and sustainability rules again. So let's hope the people who are saying that are right. Obviously, the Premier League have found a problem somewhere for them to have to put it to the board or commission or whatever you call it, the commission. So again, I just hope it's not the same commission boards who heard the first hearing. But listen, I don't know how we spoke about this today. How have we got in this mess? You know, and everyone, and listen, I'm not sticking up for Bill Kenwright here and whatsoever, but you know, when we had Bill Kenwright running the club, he didn't put us in this much of a mess. Okay, we didn't spend much money, but the club was run better. And since this clown's come in, whether it be his club, whether it be Usmanov's club, and Mashiri's just a face, I think we can all gather that it has been Usmanov's club. This new stadium that is in the process of getting built has been nothing but trouble to this football club. It's nothing to do with the playing side, all these hearings and the points deduction and the shit that's getting thrown at us. It seems like daily, you know, we're losing money every day as a club because of the loans, the interest on the loans. I think there's 4 loans outstanding at the minute. And basically a lot of them loans have only been taken out since we started building this new stadium. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The shine's gone from me off this stadium. I wish we would never have started building the fucking thing.
Well, let's also get the take of Wolfie from Forest Fan TV, who obviously this probably a bit of a shock for your boys as well in that sense, but we're used to it, Wolfie. Good to see you. Any Everton?
We've had it before, transfer embargoes back in the day.
Yeah, well, welcome to the whole 10-point deduction club, potentially. We look forward to it. We fight it. Corrupt bastards, we know who we are. How are you feeling?
I don't know, man. Like, I still... Do you know what? It's going to sound arrogant. I've got a bit of your arrogance, Mikey. I'm thinking to myself, Sheffield, Luton, Burnley. 10, even if we got 10 points, which I just don't see it, you know. I don't see us going down. I don't see you.
We said that though, and look what happened to us. You know, yours is for the playing side of the thing. No, obviously the money with the money you spent on transfers. Ours is a completely different kettle of fish. Ours is nothing to do with the playing staff. Ours is to do with the new grounds and the interest we're paying on loans for it. So, listen, it's a big hit for both clubs, isn't it? Obviously, we've already been hit with a 10-point deduction. We have got an appeal in February to see if we get any points back, all the points back, or none of the points back. Obviously, yous are going to have to go down that same route as well.
Well,
I haven't really looked into it. What was your overspend of the 105 million, Wolfie?
We don't know. There's talks that it was about 30 million or so. The big issue for us is that it looks like Forest put their hands up and said, yeah, we've done it. What they're arguing is that Brentford came in for Brennan Johnson, and they were offered 30 to 35 mil, but Forest wanted more towards 50. So we could have accepted that Brentford offer, which came early in the window. It's stupid how the FFP or the PSR thing cuts off in the middle of a transfer window. I mean, who organizes this crap? So what happened was we held out to get more money for Jono and got the 48.5 million from Spurs, homegrown player, all cash up front. So explain to me how this PSR, which is meant to be about profit and sustainability, punishes you for making more profit to become more sustainable, because their cutoff was here. We sold him here instead of here. So we sold him, 90 days, 2 months after it. It's corruption, man. I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm in the mud with you lot. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Everything I laughed at you about, Mikey, I now take it back.
Yeah, you are right, because we did the similar thing with Charleston the summer before to make sure that went into the month the year after. And you are right, because Forest. So the argument is two different things, although we've been found in breach of the same thing. John, you alluded to it. Everton's is very simply, our wage bill's not high, not too high. Our playing costs aren't too high. Ours is fundamentally stadium costs and other loan costs, interest costs, which are absolutely crippling us. Quite clearly, we've got close to £1 billion of debt, Wolfie, which, as a football club like Everton, that's a lot of dough. We're not, we're not worth £1 billion, so we are in the red by some distance. However,
what happens next year or the next FFP cycle?
So they're changing the rules in August.
I mean, that pissed me off as well. They're changing the rules to sort Man City
just before City's stadium.
Yeah. That's the bit. And do you know the bit that really wound me up was that City have accepted to appear next summer in front of a. Since when? Could you imagine if you'd shot someone in the head and then you get the police round? We're here to ask you if you'd be willing to come to court to defend your innocence. Since when do you get the option to go and defend yourself? It's
because it's City, isn't it, mate? You know what I mean? And this is why their hearing's not starting till the autumn, and you're not going to find out the outcome till next year. But come autumn, the rules have already changed by August anyway. Listen, I said this to Michael today. The top 6 teams, we all know who they are, get away with everything. Practically everything. The rest of the league, Wolfie, as I said to Michael, we're just there to make the numbers up. We're just there to make the numbers up because they don't give a shit about us, And again, Tottenham built a stadium. Arsenal built a stadium. They were allowed to put their money or whatever it was costing in with their books or their figures that they were going to submit, which was allowed. Halfway through Everton's hearing for this first 10 points deduction we got, they changed the rules and said you can't include stadium costs now, but yet Tottenham and Arsenal were allowed to.
So the process, as far as I understand, because you alluded to that, John, so the process is, I think both clubs will be readying their appeal case, which we've both got very good QCs, I've noticed. KC's actually King Silks. What will happen is Everton will go through their appeal on the first points deduction. Now, we all think, if I'm being honest, we all think that that's going to either get completely overturned and become a fine or be halved or roughly around that. Yeah, and then what will happen to both Forest and Everton is they will pick up the same punishment that we have just had as the appeal for their punishment. So if it gets reduced to 5 points, Everton will have an additional 5 points and Forest will then get 5 points. If it's a transfer embargo, then Everton will have a double longer transfer embargo and you guys might miss a season or miss one window. And if it's a fine, Everton will get 2 and Forest will get 1. It is all down to the appeal, what sanctions actually get put on our football clubs. But the Brendan Johnson thing for me, Wolfie, you're absolutely spot on, is you have done exactly the right thing as a football club to try and get more money possible. Yeah. I don't understand why in a financial tax year you can't backdate pre-loaded. You knew he was going. So you could have loaded the fact that we want 50 mil. We're not taking 30. We've waited for the extra 20. So that 20 should be put in the forecast or financial sort of pre-tax addition changes for the year prior. I absolutely get it.
But it's worse
I'll-
than that, like, it's worse than that because you can do that. You're right. You can do that on self-assessments and
Yeah.
corporate tax returns. Can't do it FFP. But the worst thing for Forest isn't that. It's the fact that every year you can be 35 mil over on FFP, yeah, unless you're a promoted club.
Yeah, it's
So
half.
we came in with 13 million from the championship 2 times basically and 35. So we could only go to 61. So we're probably lower in terms of our actual spend over the 3-year period than most of the other Premier League clubs. How can you add a championship set of rules into the Premier League? Do you know what I mean? There should be differences. And on top of that, everything's had inflation, man. Have you seen how much it costs to buy milk now? Yeah. This rule that came in was what, 2014? We're 10
Yeah.
years down the line. Where's the inflation accountability into this as well? It's just been 105 the whole time. It's stupid, man.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
They were saying that on Talk Sport earlier. Someone was on Talk Sport and they were saying, you know, why hasn't that 105 been raised? Because as you quite rightly say, you've got to move along with the times and inflation. So realistically, as you say, when did this start going up? Your milk and all that shit, right? Why can't they just go at 150 million at the cut off at 150 million?
John, you're spot on, and Wolfie, you're spot on, because if you think about it, the housing market between 2014 and now, for example, has gone up probably about 55 to 60%. So surely the FFP rule should also follow suit. You're absolutely spot on. To be honest, it stinks. And the more you look into the Premier League, the more you look into Richard Masters, the more you look at some of the VAR decisions, the more you look at clubs finally looking at the Premier League and going, hang on, this isn't right. I honestly think more clubs like Forest, I think Wolves are probably, I know they didn't fail financial, all of this, but they've been shafted on decisions this season. Clubs, I think, are starting to wake up, smell the coffee, realise how bad it is. And I honestly think the Premier League very shortly will be a defunct organisation because the government, whether that be Labour or Conservative next year, has to step in. They have to step in. There has to be someone that manages the Premier League because the Premier League, in my opinion, and look, this is slander if it's technically not true, but I would love to do an investigation into the Premier League morals, dealings, transfers, rules, because some of it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Richard Masters is apparently in the House of Commons tomorrow to explain how the Premier League runs and how it reaches its decisions, because he's got to put a good case across, because as we spoke about before, Michael, the governments want to come in and try and run the Premier League now because obviously they want to take over the running of it or something along them lines. Richard Masters is now going to go to the House of Commons tomorrow in front of the MPs and put his 2 penny worth across to prove that the Premier League can run itself, or he can run the Premier League. So he's got a big case to answer to, because what's happened to Everton 2 times now, and obviously what's happened to Wolfie's Forest, that will get brought up tomorrow. So he's got to have some answers for the MPs.
What does this, not necessarily in terms of the points deduction, Wolfie, but in terms of the strategy for your January and the rest of the season? What does this do to Forest? Does this stop you signing players? What does it do in your mindset? Do you go, oh, let's not sign anyone, let's shut up shop? Or do you go, actually, screw this, let's go all out in January, make sure we're 5 points or 10 points better off than, Luton and Burnley? Where's your mindset at?
For me, we got to buy players still. We need a backup striker. I reckon we need another goalkeeper and a winger or 2. Yeah. The fan base will be too scared to agree with me, I think. Not as in always scared, as in like they'd be apprehensive about it.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is we're about to lose one of those championship years. So we're going to lose a 13 to go to a 35. Yeah. If that Brennan Johnson money has gone into this next financial year, all straight up cash, that's 50 mil pretty much on the bottom line. Forest have got money to spend. If we get away, or if we can afford the sanctions, whatever comes through this one today, then we're looking good, you know. And I would say we should spend it because we got the room to spend it. And are we gonna? I think we'll get a couple in, but I think what we're seeing at the moment, anyway, across the, if you look at the January window, it's been dead. Everyone's scared. Every club is scared, aren't they? Every club is scared. And the thing is, you're gonna get to the stage where it's not sustainable, because you always need a buyer to be able to sell a player. Let's say we wanted to sell, just say we wanted to sell Morgan Gibbs White tomorrow, yeah, and we wanted to get 70 million for him, but we had to sell him because we were in trouble on FFP. No one potentially is going to splash out that cash on him. Now, I'm not saying
you've got to sell him on the cheap.
So you end up, what do you do? You'd have to lower your price, wouldn't you? So in the end, it goes from profitability into like panic. Do you know what I mean?
And who does that then benefit? Because the only teams that are going to go for the Morgan Gibbs Whites, we've got Sam with Anana, is going to be the big 6 teams that are still allowed to spend because they've got the big commercial deals, they've got the sponsors in the background. They get away with it because they find loopholes in contract. You know, Chelsea, very famously now, Mudrik's 8-year contract. They find ways to get around these things, and clubs like Forest, like Everton, who have tried to do things properly, get shafted for it. So you're absolutely right. It's profit and sustainability, but it suits the bigger teams because, as you say, we will have to reduce our prices to sell our players.
To getting players on the cheap, aren't they?
They're getting good players on the cheap. I mean, me and John had this conversation today. If it is another 10-point deduction for Everton and 20 points, right, Everton don't stay up. Right, let's just be honest. We don't stay up.
I don't know, mate. I still think you would. What would you go down to? What are you on now? 17?
We'd have 7.
We'd be holding the rest of the league up.
2 points behind shitty Sheffield United, man. It's still doable. Still doable.
No. I'm telling you now, if we get a 20-point deduction and Sean's ice keeps us up, he fucking deserves a statue outside Goodison, mate. I'm telling you now. Going back to what you said there about spending money, Michael, in January, aren't we? I mean, obviously, Everton haven't got any money to spend, but the likes of Forest, can't they spend money because this is a new year now?
They can. They can spend money, but it's almost like they're going to be under extra scrutiny now. So, like, the mindset is, oh, do we do that? Do we play all nice to the Premier League, or do we just go hell for leather? I mean, me personally, I know what my reaction is, but my reaction has been quite aggressive, as in, like, next time there's a bad VAR decision, we run on the pitch and we tell them. We walk out the stadium, we get the players off the pitch. I'm done with it. But Forest, who have come into the Premier League, yes, they've signed players. Yes, they've spent money. Yes, their wage bill has gone up. But everyone forgets, and I can say this for Wolfie, but everyone forgets, when they come into the Premier League, they only had 14 registered players themselves because they'd had a lot of loan signings, they'd had a lot of support in the Championship, whereas now they've had to build a squad. So not only have Everton been punished for stadium costs, Forest are getting penalised for building a Premier League size squad. I mean, yeah, look, it might be slightly too big at the minute. I think Wolfie would probably accept that. But they've had to spend money to do that. So not only the league championship teams that get promoted get absolutely shafted, they're not allowed to spend money to improve anyway. So not even just the top 6 change. Potentially, the 3 teams that come up can't spend as much as other Premier League teams. You know, Forest, no disrespect to Forest, but if Everton and Forest had a 0 on their balance sheet right now, Everton can outspend Forest by whatever the difference is between 12.5 million and 35. That's a fact. Until they're in the Premier League for 3 years and that levels up. It is wrong.
Yeah, it's not just that though, boys. It's if you come up and you do a Norwich and you don't spend anything, you're coming up for your parachute payments, yeah. Everyone takes the piss out of you, yeah. But when we came up, when Marinak's like, no, we're gonna have a crack at this. I'll spend big because I'm playing big. People, you know, meme it. It's like, how do you win? What do people want you to do? Is there like this exact perfect amount of transfers you're allowed to have somewhere in the middle? And I'll say this as well, right? I don't care that we're being punished because I would rather Marinakis, or I don't know the backstory. Yeah, maybe there was idiots in the club. Maybe it was calculated. Because if you think about it, spending this money kept us in the Premier League, which generates what, another 100 million into the club this year. There's probably calculations in the club where they're going, you know what, if we're going to get hit with 6 points next season, there's 3 shit clubs potentially in it. Let's take the risk. It's better for the club financially. Yeah, I get that. I don't mind it if it's like that. If it's down to stupidity, someone, you know, not counting on the abacus correctly, then I have an issue with it. But I don't mind. I get Forest do need to be, or potentially should be, punished because they've breached it. But here's my issue. Man City are now taking the absolute piss, man. 115 charges. What the Premier League is saying is, next time you break the rules, break more than one. Yeah. Go in the hundreds, slow us down, and you can carry on doing what you're doing. So your fault and our fault is that we didn't break enough rules. That's what it comes down to. You know, it's like saying to someone, oh, you killed one person, or the other guy who mass killed people. Oh, that one should have killed more people. It's so stupid in its logic, man. It really is.
I think 85% of the Premier League are looking over their shoulders now with all this that's going on. But what I don't understand is it only Everton and Forest who've been looked into with this?
Well, Everton and Forest have both put their hands up. So,
and that's the thing. We've admitted it. And we admitted it the first time and got it with 10 points.
The difference is we've only admitted it on the basis that the first time we got done was on the wrong basis. So we've gone, well, if you've looked at our first case and you've said, yeah, you've broken the rules, then Everton have broken the rules the second time, even though we disagree with the fact we broke them the first time. And that's what Everton's statement basically says. It says, we disagree with it. We've been done twice for the same thing. We have to admit this one because that one was given against us, albeit we think it's wrong. And it's different with Forest because Forest are basically saying, yeah, fair enough, but there's mitigating circumstances in the fact that we know we're going to sell a player. The money didn't come in for him. We've got no choice to run our club properly. I honestly think the Premier League have made such a mess out of this that I actually think the points deductions will be scrapped and it will be a fine. I'm absolutely convinced of it. And I don't know about Wolfie if you know this, but Everton have had a lot of MPs and a lot of senior people within the country essentially fight for us. And one of those, I think his name is Mark Kearney, who used to be the former head of the Bank of England. So he's literally got ears at Prime Minister level. And he's come out and said that the punishment handed down is unlawful and he doesn't agree with it. So there's a lot of clubs now and there's a lot of people involved in this that think the Premier League have acted wrong. So I honestly think if you're going to get a punishment for this, now's probably the time to do it because I think they're going to reverse it all because they know they've fucked it up.
Yeah. And
I'm convinced.
But I think there's more sympathy. There'll be more sympathy to your cause than ours, because I think our perception is, oh, look at that big Greek guy coming in and just splashing his cash. We'll teach him a lesson. This isn't how you do it in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? I think the general perception will be that it's you can't do it like that. You can't just go and buy yourself a place in the Premier League. So that's my worry with the Forest stuff. But yeah, there's loads of people. You're right. I've seen all the tweets coming out. They're back in the cause. There just needs to be balance, boys. I'm sorry. I can't go from watching Bolly getting sent off for being stamped on against Bournemouth, yeah, to Forest now being screwed over and other clubs getting away with it. All in the same season. It's corruption on the pitch, corruption off the pitch right now. It's doing my head in. It's doing my head in. Where's the consistency?
Imagine
we had a similar thing on the playing side of it when we played Tottenham. Anana Decore's shirt practically got took off his back. Wasn't given. The same Tottenham player done it the following week when they played Brighton and a penalty was given. They're not even hiding it anymore. And this is the thing now. That top six get absolutely everything. And the likes of Everton, Forest, Crystal Palace, Wolves, we're just here to make the numbers up, as I said before. They don't give a shit about us. And you know what? I hope this European Super League happens. I really do. And I know, I said this to you, Michael, I know the Premier League won't have to pull But I tell you what, it'll be a more level playing field.
Yeah, but what the thing that I'll find interesting is not next season, the season after. So Everton go into this shiny, big new stadium. Let's hope we're a Premier League team. The Euros.
Funny if you weren't, but I
Yeah,
don't want you to.
honestly, imagine. Honestly.
I don't think we will be. I'm convinced.
Well, so we go into this new shiny stadium. The Euros will be happening or close to happening. Sort of like people will look at, similar to what happened with the Spurs stadium because of the old MLS stuff and the football games, and everyone was looking at that Spurs stadium. Everton are going to have more eyes on them, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Premier League deal with that, because we're not one of the chosen clubs. We all know that. I mean, some of the decisions we've had this season are a joke. Everton, yet again, last season to get last team to get a penalty in the Premier League. We haven't had a red card given against an opposition this season. The list goes on. Do you know, Wolfie, we've had 4 penalties given in 4 years. Some clubs get that in 12 games. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Weekly, don't they, mate?
Yeah.
I can't remember what they quoted.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2 years' time. Will Everton become a media darling?
No.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just makes me laugh because I think they pick and choose. They did it with Leicester. Leicester started playing well, and then all of a sudden, every game was broadcast. They were getting decisions for them. They were getting support from them. And look, I'm not disrespecting Leicester at all. They did well to win the league, but it could have been harder.
But you know what's really interesting? Just jumping back to this subject, right? So this one we find out on what is it, the 12th of April, I think it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess what the next match is? Now, don't tell me there's no conspiracy in this. The next weekend on the 20th of April, what's the match?
Everton Forest.
Everton Forest.
Oh, wow.
you
guarantee. And again, that'll be a game. It's built up on TV. The 2 cheating clubs. It'll be all over Sky. I'm telling you, it's a joke.
I don't think they'll put it on Sky. They'll be too scared. Can you imagine the crowd?
Oh, mate, I've got to be there.
Can you imagine the crowd? I mean, I was taking the piss at you about the pink slips, but we'll be saying pass them round. Pass them round.
We're going to need some. Get them printed.
Yeah. Mate, we set up a Just Giving page.
It'll be a
fucking hell. Got about £46,000. That Just Giving page, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You have to set one of them up, Wolfie.
Well, it feels wrong not to just quickly ask about your season so far, because we are in the middle of January. And are you happy with Nuno?
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, man. Newcastle 3-1, Man United. 29 years I've been waiting to take the piss back out of all my Man U mates, mate. 11 losses in a row to that scummy team. And then Nuno comes swanning in, gives them a good slap. I mean, we even gave them 12 men. Turner was playing on their team. I don't know if you noticed. It was 12 on 10. And they still couldn't beat us. Brilliant. So, yeah, I'm happy with Nuno. Obviously, Blackpool is what it is. But we got them on Wednesday. So, yeah, that's why I'm confident, boys. I'll be honest with you. I'll be straight with you. If we were sitting here now and Cooper was still in charge, I'd be like, just relegate us now. There's no point. Yeah, we're wasting our time. But Nuno, I like him. I like what he's done. I like his philosophy. I like his play style. So I'm happy. I'm getting a weird noise. You got
it's the dog barking. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy, man. I right now, you know, as much as I like to banter with you boys and stuff, and I put it on Twitter, this nice little meme that we made. And it's like the Everton fans like, oh, you lot were the ones calling us criminals at the City Ground the other week. And I'm like, look past it. Look past it now. We are as one. It's us versus the Premier League, yeah? We're better off.
We're in the same boat now, aren't we?
We're in the same boat. We're better off united. I'm going to miss taking the piss out of you boys, but hey, you know, we are where we are right now. So we've got to unite. Put all the banter to one side, and what you're gonna see is slowly more and more clubs are gonna join. You're gonna see Wolves, the fan base there, they're gonna start raising their eyebrows, thinking we just missed out. This could be us next. Bournemouth, Fulham, all the other teams. Yeah, it's better
Villa.
off numbers allow.
Villa's the one.
Yeah.
Villa according to rumours, Villa were very, very close.
A couple of brown envelopes goes away.
I mean, honestly, if you think about the amount of money that Villa have spent over the last 5 years, 3 years, it is an absolute miracle they haven't been involved in this. Because if Everton have, and our net spend over the last 5 years is something like 37 million, which, don't get me wrong, Wolfie, the prior 4 years before that was about 500 million.
Is that when you were getting old Rodriguez and all that?
Sigurdsson, Rooney, Klaassen, Michael Keane, Jordan Pickford, Morgan Schneiderlin, Lassie.
My God, I forgot about him.
Honestly, how much money we spent in that 1 year under Koeman? It was something like £240 million in that one season, and we finished about 14th.
It was a good summer, mate. You would have enjoyed that transfer window.
Oh, I enjoyed it, but it just turned out all the players were shit.
Exactly.
500, isn't it something like £750 million we've spent since Mashiri's been at the club?
Yeah.
2 seasons before this one, we were fighting relegation, and we're fucked this season as well. 750 million quid.
Yeah, but you always survive. What's going on with your 777 boys? I heard.
Oh, don't even talk about that. Someone else has pulled them into court today. I'm telling you what.
Mate, every day or every week, somebody else is suing them for millions of pounds. And me and John think it's because they're keeping all the money back to buy Everton. So when they buy Everton, they're not going to have any money.
And we can't spend anything ananyway.
We're fucked.
We are going to have to start. I am going to have to shoot in a minute. But go on.
How long's it been? I remember I've heard you boys talking about it for, it feels like a year at least.
It's been 4 months.
It's been about 4 or 5 months. It's been going on. They passed all the other tests apart from the Premier League one.
I thought you were going to say from the actual.
No, in the Premier League, they'll probably pass it.
They've passed
the financial one. How? But the Premier League will pass them because they want to fuck us over anyway. So the Premier League will pass these.
I reckon these come in and we're in administration within 2 years. Honestly, I'll just do it.
We'd be better going into administration. We would. We'd be better. You get 9-point deduction. Hopefully all the debts get cleared up and all that. Go into administration and start it again. Blue Boys Network FC. Fuck it. Start again.
John as the manager. I can see him now managing Mikalenko on the left-hand side. Run, Mickey, run!
You won the old charity one, Mike. You'd have to be in charge, surely.
Oh, mate, I'd be in charge. Don't you worry about that. John can be the water boy or something.
Right, I'm going to have to go.
Right. Well, to be fair, I think we should leave it there. Wolfie, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Not looking forward to the next Beat the Drop, mate. Jimmy.
No, I'm not either. We're going to get some stick.
Yeah, together. We stick together, mate. Yeah. No more taking it out of each other. We're mud brothers now.
We're in it. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV. The link will be in the description. Make sure you obviously like and subscribe to us. John's got to go and, I don't know, do something. So
take a shit.
Probably.
No, I need to get my baby. He's got to go to bed. She won't sleep when she hears me next door. So, right, I'm going to shoot Wolfie. Nice one again, mate. Speak to you soon, Michael. I'll speak to you soon.
See you soon, everyone. We're going. Peace.
Cheers.